Hello and welcome to the card demonstration video. This one we're going to be going over how to make the superhero card. So as I've mentioned, if you watched any of my other videos, my card is going to look different than your card, and that is okay. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we're just want to check that we have all of the materials to make this card. So the first thing that you're going to need is a base to your card. One thing that I want to mention is if you are planning on writing on the inside of the card, if you're planning on writing on the front inside, you'll want to do that first. So because this is such a dark blue, I do recommend just getting a piece of white paper and folding it in half and gluing it in. Before you glue it in, I would do your message or your drawing or whatever you're making for Dad, and then glue it in. Just because we put on all of these raised items, and the bumpies of the glitter might end up making it really difficult to draw on, and you may end up damaging the flourishes on your card if you are writing on the inside of it. So just a recommendation. So we should have a card base, a large rectangle, a glitter rectangle, a Dad flourish, our hero banner, a flag, and 4 stars. One's big and 3 are little. I am missing my 3 little stars today, but that's okay. I decided I didn't want to use them for this project, and that's okay. If you want to do something differently for your card, if you don't want to use this Our Hero banner and just write Our Hero yourself, that's fantastic. You should do that. Okay, so first things first is I want to lay everything out and determine where do I want everything to sit. Because just because my card looks like this, my original card, doesn't mean that's what my next card is going to look like or what your card is going to look like. So take a few minutes and play around with it, because there's a lot of different options that you can do, and I might do something a little bit different this time too. So I am going to lay out everything, and let's just play around with it. Maybe I'll put the Dad at the bottom and the star on top. Maybe I won't even use the flag. I don't know if I want to use the flag. Maybe I won't. Why not, right? Yeah, I'll use the flag. I like the flag. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. So this is how I've laid out my card. So like I said, it's a little bit different than the original. You can see here. But it's close, and I'm not using my little stars just because, why not? Let's make it a little bit different. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, now that you have all that, you have your glue stick. If you are choosing to use glue dots, they're foam raised squares. I keep calling them dots. These I bought at Michael's. I think you get 250 or 150, I'm not sure how many squares, for about $5. They just add that three-dimensional look to your card. You do not need them to make a beautiful card. That's just what I'm using. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to glue your white piece to your card. So we're going to go ahead and put glue all over the place. And feel free to use those raised dots wherever you want. If you want to put raised dots on everything, you do you. I'm going to use the flat glue for the first few pieces because that's my preference. But you can do whatever you want. Okay. So if you want, you can absolutely measure out your card if you want everything centered and parallel and perfectly aligned. I've done that in the past. I just have like a sewing, actually I have like 17 of these, sewing measuring tapes, and then I just use some chalk and I kind of, make my marks on where everything's gonna go, and I measure it and make it look perfectly centered, and that is fantastic if you want to do that, but it's absolutely not necessary. And next I'm going to put my glitter. So I want to, of course, glue the back of my glitter page. Again, if you want to use those dots, feel free. So So I'm just using a regular glue stick. I got this one at Michael's. The one I used for my other cards was actually from the dollar store, and it worked really, really well. I was just almost out, so I thought I would try this fancy glue stick, and it's actually not working as well as my dollar store one, so lesson learned, I guess. So you do want to just put some pressure, especially if your glue stick, kind of like mine, just isn't working the way you want it to. I think mine is a slow drying one because you can kind of reposition it after it's done, so sometimes you just need to add that little bit of extra pressure. Okay, so I have created my base. Now I get to put everything on. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use glue dots for the rest of it because I love that three-dimensional look. It's my favorite. So that's what I'm going to do. So I am going to start at the top and work my way down. So I'm going to start with my blue flag, and I think I'm going to put it the other way. In my original card, I had it pointing down, but I'm going to have it pointing up because I want to be different today. So I'm going to use foam dots. I'm going to use 2 of them. You can't use too many foam dots, but you can use too few. So I like to make sure that my pieces of paper are extra supported by using probably more than I need to. One thing with the glue dots is you just want to make sure that you are making it so you won't see the foam dots once you put them on. So you want to make sure that they're contained under that paper. So I have my first flourish on. Now I'm going to put my star on. Again, I'm going to use a glue dot. I probably only need 1 glue dot for the star. Because the edges of the stars, like the points, I should say, they aren't wobbly. Like when you hold it up, it stays flat. So that means that they're pretty solid. They don't need a lot of support. So I don't need to go ahead and try to put glue dots on every single point. Because first of all, that would be really difficult. And second of all, I think it would be kind of pointless. Get it? Pointless? I know you're here for the puns. Okay. So now I'm just going to put my star on the way that I think my star should look. You can put it on any way you want it. And then I'm going to put on my dad superhero emblem. So because my dad emblem, it's pretty skinny in some spots. So I'm going to use my small glue squares, foam squares, and I'm going to cut some of them in half because I think if I use a full one, you're going to be able to see it. So I've got my scissors here, and I'm going to cut some in half. Now this one, you are going to want to use a few glue dots. So I think I'm going to put one on each line of each letter. So I'm going to put 2 on the D, 2 on the A, and 2 on the D. And then I'm going to go around the edging, and I'm going to put probably 4 around the outskirts of the emblem. Like I said, you can't use too many, but because this one is a little bit flimsy, if you end up putting only on the edges, it may end up sinking down like that, and then your card's gonna kind of look like it doesn't have 3 dimension. Now you want to make sure that you're flipping your dad emblem over and that you are in fact putting the glue dots, foam squares, whatever you want to call them, on the back. Otherwise dad will be backwards. Oh, and you know what? Some of my emblem area actually is wide enough so I can use a full glue dot, which is fantastic because first of all, it's a little less work and just a little bit more support, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, I don't think I have to cut any of these. You make a liar out of me. Okay, so I've gone ahead. I have a 6 on the word dad. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a 7th in between that D and the A. Okay, so I have that, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and put one here, here, and here. So I think I need to cut these, but you know what? These are pretty good at being able to be tested, so if you put it on, you can always take it off. But yeah, I need to cut these. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them in half. I've got my kitchen scissors because I couldn't find my craft scissors because I've been doing way too many projects lately. Okay. There we go. And one last cut. Because I'm cutting this one in half, I'll just throw that extra piece somewhere that needs a little extra support. So I'm going to put it here, and I'll show you where I put it. Okay, so my dad emblem is going to be very well supported. Okay, now I just got to take the backs off my glue dots because I left them all on. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Okay. Now I'm going to put that here, kind of in the middle. Nice and supported, fantastic. And then my last piece, not your last piece, because I don't have the little stars, is my hero banner. And I'm doing mine a little bit differently. So in this one, I had the white piece a little bit raised. Where in this one, I've centered everything. As you can see, I'm actually not super loving it, but it was an experiment. So I'm going to put my hero down, or our hero down here, and it's going to overlap the white and the blue. So like I said, there's lots of different ways that you can do your card. So you do you, and I am doing me, and that's why my card looks a little bit different than the one I made the other day. Okay. There we go. So at this point, what you would do if you are using those little stars is you would put that glue dot and put the star here, and then the two here, just like we did with the rest. And that is the superhero card. If you end up needing more pieces, if they rip or, you know, you lose a star, that's what happened to me anyways. You can definitely send me a message if you have any questions as well, and I'm happy to make you guys new pieces. So thank you for watching, and enjoy making your card.